Good morning and welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Monday, Chaf Zayin Adar, the 27th of Adar. The 27th of Adar was the day that in 1992 the Rebbe had a stroke when he went to the Ohel. And ever since then we didn't hear the Rebbe talking. And we're waiting for the coming of Moshiach to see the Rebbe once again, but the Rebbe gave us the instructions that no matter what, he prepared us for that. And we need to go with full strength and full emunah and full simcha and full trust in Hashem, that whatever situation we find ourselves, even though we don't see the light yet, but we know that this is for the good, for the best, and we need to ask Hashem, to beg Hashem for Moshiach, to demand it, and to ask it with simcha, with happiness, and with trust that Moshiach is coming. And in today's Tanya lesson, in the middle of chapter 37, we are learning about something we're trying to do every morning when we begin the lesson. We begin with tzedakah. And we give tzedakah and we say, Gedoyle tzedakah, shemekareves asageula. Great is charity, for it hastens the redemption. This is something the Rebbe was very much into encouraging people. Every Sunday the Rebbe would stand out, giving dollars for people to give a blessing and to give tzedakah. The Rebbe would encourage to have every home, every bedroom of the children, they should have their own pushka tzedakah. Every kitchen should be placed on the wall or somewhere in the kitchen, a permanent way, a charity box, so you can start with giving tzedakah. And so many occasions the Rebbe would hand out tzedakah. Children, before davening, the Rebbe would hand out coins for them to place in the charity box. And that's what we're learning in today's Tanya lesson, the power of tzedakah, the power of the mitzvah of charity, and why this is something that has the power to bring Mashiach closer, to hasten the coming of Mashiach. And Alter Rebbe explained, based on what we explained in the beginning of this chapter, that the ultimate purpose of the creation of the world is to reunite the entire world and everything in it to God. It is by doing the mitzvah. Every mitzvah that we do involves our effort, our energy, our soul. And when we fulfill God's will with this energy, we unite this energy to God. And that is why tzedakah has such a heavy weight in this mission. Because with every other mitzvah that you do, the mitzvah, number one, is done with a certain part of your body. A certain organ of your body is invested in the mitzvah. It refines a certain part of your body or your soul. You put on tefillin with your hands, you shake with the lulav, you walk to a shul or you walk to help somebody else. That's number one. And number two, it is limited to the time that you're doing the mitzvah. When you put into tefillin, that's when you're connected to Hashem. Whatever mitzvah you do. But the mitzvah of tzedakah is unique in that number one, it not only involves a certain part of your body, but it involves your whole being. Why? Because how do you get the money to give tzedakah? You work for it. When you work, you invest your whole being. Whether you work as an employer or you're doing business, you're looking and you're investing yourself. So all of the time that you invest to make this money, now that you're giving that money away for a good cause, then it elevates everything what you invested. And even if you didn't work for your money, let's say you inherited the money, you won the lottery or whatever, still, when you give away something that you're able to make a living with that money, you're able to buy with the money food, clothing, shelter, vacations, whatever you want, and instead you're taking what the money that you're able to take for yourself and you're giving it away for a holy cause. That therefore elevates everything, the entire being. So basically, it is like sometimes you're having in a war, you're shooting and you're aiming on small details and dealing with individual problems, but then you have a carpet bombing, and you're conquering many parts. And this is the tzedakah takes so much of the energy of the animal soul, and that is being elevated. Yours, and as we said yesterday, is also, it's a chain reaction with everything that is involved. The food that you eat to be able to work, and the people that prepare the food, and the people that and the clothing that you wear, and that the clothing that the people who prepare the food wear, everything is like a chain reaction that involves the entire circle. That when you do this mitzvah of tzedakah, it elevates so much more, and that is why the mitzvah of tzedakah is so powerful, that it hastens the coming of Moshiach. And that's why the Rebbe insisted every day people should give, doesn't matter the amount, and they should encourage other people, Jew, non-Jew, they should give to charity, because those are things that you do that elevates the vital soul and prepares us for Mashiach. So tzedakah is not just as a reward when you do charity. When you're being charitable, God is being charitable to us, which is also true. But this is much more than that. It is actually doing the preparation work for the coming of Moshiach by elevating the world. So let's see inside how the Alter Rebbe says this. This is the Alter Rebbe. ובזה יובן מה שהפליגו רבינו זכרונם לברכה במאוד מאוד במיילת הצדקה, ואמרו ששקולו כנגד כל המצוות. In light of the above, where it was explained that the distinctive quality of the active mitzvahs lies in their elevating effect on the body and vital soul. That's what the focus of this chapter was, explaining the specialty of mitzvahs of action. And the action involves your vital soul, and that is being refined and elevated when you do the mitzvah. So in light of that, we can understand why our sages so greatly extolled the virtue of charity, declaring it equal to all the other mitzvahs together. So in addition to what we just said that the charity hastens the coming of Mashiach, there's another statement that it is equal to all other mitzvahs together. And therefore, why is it equal? Why is it equal to all the mitzvahs? Of course, every mitzvah is important, but this is equal to all other mitzvahs because this is the focal point of all other mitzvahs, which is to elevate the animal soul and the energy of this world. And the mitzvah of tzedakah has it so in such a great way. In addition to that, Alter Rebbe says now that in the Jerusalem Talmud, that mitzvah of tzedakah is referred to as the mitzvah. Whenever you would say the mitzvah in the Talmud, in Jerusalem Talmud, it refers to the mitzvah of tzedakah. I find it many times also, I ask the people, come, let's do a mitzvah. And sometimes people who are not very familiar with Yiddishkeit, with Judaism, they would say, oh, mitzvah, okay, yeah, I give tzedakah, I give. And I always say that there's many other mitzvahs, not just giving tzedakah. I'm not talking about tzedakah only. Let's put on tefillin. Let's keep kosher. Let's do this. Let's do that. But apparently, when you say mitzvah that refers to tzedakah, has a source in the Talmud. The Jerusalem Talmud calls a regular the mitzvah, whenever it says mitzvah, refers to tzedakah. That's what it says. B'chol Talmud Yerushalmi in nikras b'shem mitzvah stam. Ki kacha hergel aloshen likrat tzedakah b'shem mitzvah stam. In all the Jerusalem Talmud, charity is called simply the commandment. For such was the idiomatic expression commonly used to refer to charity, the commandment, the mitzvah. Why? Because charity is the core of all the mitzvahs of action and surpasses them all. Why is that? Is what we just explained. Shekulon hein rak le'alos nefesh achiyunis la'Hashem. For the purpose of all these mitzvahs is only to elevate one's animal soul to God. Since it is this vital soul that performs them and clothes itself in them. The vital soul performs the mitzvah. Without the vital soul, the godly soul cannot perform the mitzvah. So has to be absorbed into the blessed Ein Sof light clothed in them. Now you will find no other mitzvah in which the vital soul is clothed to the same extent as in the mitzvah of charity. As we explained, because in all other mitzvahs, only one faculty of the vital soul is clothed. For example, the faculty of action in the hand, donning tefillin, or holding an esrog, what we shake on sukkahs. And even this one faculty is clothed in the mitzvah only while the mitzvah is being performed. But in the case of charity, however, which one gives from the proceeds of the toil of his hand, melubesh be'asiyas melachtoi oy esek acher shenistaka boy mois elo. Says, surely all the strength of his vital soul is clothed in, is applied to the effort of his labor or in any other occupation by which he earned this money, which he now distributes for charity. So when you're making money, you're putting your soul into it. And that money that was earned by this effort is now you're giving it away to charity. So thus, when he gives to charity this money to which he applied all the strength of his vital soul, his entire vital soul ascends to God. And therefore, this is why the superiority of charity over other mitzvahs. And now, what about people who don't work so hard to earn the money? They just have the money. How is that elevating their entire soul by giving charity? So the Alter Rebbe explains that even though you didn't work for it, still you could buy your livelihood with this money, and instead you're giving it away. וגם מי שאינו נהנה מיגיע, מכל מקום אוי ובמויס אלו יכול לקנוס חיי נפשי החיוניס, הרי נויסן חיי נפשי להשם. Even he who does not earn his livelihood from his labor, nevertheless, since he could have purchased with this money that he gave for charity, he could have purchased sustenance for the life of his vital soul. He's actually giving his soul to God in the form of charity. Thus, charity comprises and therefore elevates more energy of the vital soul than any other mitzvah. This is why our sages have said that charity hastens the messianic redemption. And again, why? Because the power of elevation of the godly soul, so much of the godly soul is elevated with one giving of tzedakah. For with one act of charity, one elevates a great deal of the vital soul. More of its faculty and powers, in fact, is elevating so much that might elevate through many other active mitzvahs combined. As mentioned earlier in this chapter, the Messianic era is a result of our effort in purifying and elevating the vital soul. So charity, which affects this elevation in such great measure, thus hastens the redemption. And the takeaway from this lesson is obvious. Give tzedakah. Encourage people to give tzedakah. Teach your children to give tzedakah. Doesn't matter the amount, but do it daily, every day, to give tzedakah. We shall continue tomorrow, B'ezras Hashem. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.